Immediately, I had no recruitment opportunities, no summer baseball opportunities. So I was pretty much just coming to this cage every day, every other day, maybe like a one-day break, because you can't be throwing every day. In my mind, I was thinking, I'm not done playing the game yet, and I know I can do better than this. I know I can keep playing. I know I can play at a higher level. I just didn't know how high, and I wanted to find out. Money.
It was around the pandemic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you were struggling with baseball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What was what were the challenges back then? Like, what were you dealing with at the time?
So pretty much, it was my second year in junior college. And junior college, in terms of baseball, is pretty much where you just go where if you're not very projectable as a player and you were maybe late to develop as a player, like either in terms of your game knowledge, physically, which was my case because I got to college and continued to grow another couple inches and gained 25 pounds of muscle my fall semester there. So, I mean, I needed to go there to grow as a pitcher and as an athlete. And so my second year there is when I made a lot of progress. And the second year was when we got hit with COVID. Now, coaches got to see you play if they want to be interested in picking you up at all.
Yeah.
So I had recruitment opportunities that immediately dried up because the baseball season starts in February. Pandemic basically hit in March. We got spring break, which turned into an extended spring break, which turned into a month spring break, which turned into forever spring break.
Yeah.
So, I mean, immediately I had no recruitment opportunities, no summer baseball opportunities. So I was pretty much just coming to this cage every day, every other day, maybe like a one-day break, because you can't be throwing every day. But, you know, that I was just like, in my mind, I was thinking, I'm not done playing the game yet, and I know I can do better than this. I know I can keep playing. I know I can play at a higher level. I just didn't know how high, and I wanted to find out. So I just kept throwing against the fence for a year. Every once in a while, there'd be an old teammate that was back in town, but that I could throw with. But I just kept emailing coaches. You know, I had to find a job, right? Had to make some money.
Yeah.
And FedEx was the first one. That did not last very long.
Yeah. You said there was a guy you met at FedEx,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there?
Yeah. So it was my manager's manager at FedEx. And it was about that. At this point, I'd been working there for 2.5 weeks, and my body is tight. My arm is tight. Like, everything is tight and sore. And it's like, you know, I get home from work tired, and I'm like, I go to throw, and it's like my arm's hurting with every throw. My arm, I don't usually deal with arm pain. So I'm like, wow, like, I can't even work, like, do what I want to do off the field. So, like, I need to find a different job, like something that's not lifting freaking 80-pound Chewy boxes full of dog food for 2 hours, 2, 3, 4 hours straight. I had gotten to the point where it's like, hey, I gotta, you know, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. And he was like, hey, what's up? And I said, okay, well, I played collegiate baseball before we got canceled, and I have no recruitment opportunities, but I need to stay sharp. And I want to keep playing, but my body is way too sore and way too beat up after this FedEx work. So I gotta go. And he goes, you know what? I know exactly what you're talking about, and you can call this your last day of work and go ahead and go home because I will file your papers for you. I was like, why? And then he goes on to tell me that he was a D1 pitching recruit somewhere in Alabama. I don't remember exactly which school, but they were in the middle of their season. He beating up on some midweek kind of non-conference, like it's not even counts for their conference or playoffs or anything. This is just a team they play in the midweek just to fill some games, right? Usually pitchers don't get to hit, but because they're beating up on him so bad, they let the pitchers hit for funsies. So he gets a hit, rounds first, second, and he goes to steal third. And he does a head first slide, and he's a righty. He stiff arms the bag instead of kind of softening it with a bent arm. He stiff arms it. Every major ligament, he told me, in his arm just blew out. He blew out his entire arm, elbow, shoulder, had to get reconstructive surgery on both, Tommy John for his elbow. And he just never came back as strong as a pitcher. I mean, he came back throwing 76 miles an hour as opposed to, his low mid-90s that he was throwing in his peak. And he always regretted that. And, he gets it. I mean, he got it. And, he really helped me move on from that job as quickly as possible. I was so used to being on a team and being surrounded by people with the same goal, the same drive, pushing each other to work. And I was truly by myself, having to, motivate myself when I have no immediate baseball prospects, no immediate even education. I mean, I could just take online school, but I hate online school. I have a STEM major, computer science. I don't want to take online class. That's just so hard for me to learn. It felt like everything was kind of falling apart. And I was kind of wandering around for a little bit, and he helped me. Having somebody that felt like they were in my corner was really important. Even if it was just a guy that I had known for a day, and we just had the kind of like that same flame in our hearts.
Do you still talk to him?
No, I never got his phone number. I never got his email. I don't even remember his name, but he knows. We're gonna be the furthest. Gonna throw like 4 or 5 from here, and then work it in. Do some pull downs. A little arm side. Long up.
Looking back now, I mean, things have changed a lot in my opinion. Would you say so?
Oh yeah. I mean, eventually those endless emails I sent to coaches, one of them caught, played at Albany State University, competitive D2 HBCU, South Georgia, Albany, Georgia. Eventually I got a feel for the game again, and I was able to kind of start where I left off, like 2 years prior, before pandemic hit. And I think I've only gotten better since then.
What would you say is like the main contributing factor to why you want to still do baseball, despite everything?
I love it. I mean, you don't love the game because you're succeeding. You love the game because it's almost kind of like a childlike enjoyment of the game. Like, you just love doing it. You love throwing. You love getting better, working at your craft. It's something that I work on daily, and I love it. I mean, love the game, love watching the game, love playing the game. And if I can keep getting opportunities, then if I'm good enough to keep getting opportunities, then I want to keep doing it, because eventually I'm going to get old, and that's when I can settle into, whatever office job. But if I settle into an office job right now, there will be no coming back to the game. I can't just take a 5-year break, make some money, do computer science, whatever, and then try to come back to baseball. It just won't happen. It's got to happen now, or it's not happening ever.
Yeah.
What's next? One long off season. Schedule some tryouts for indie ball. I know Poland will take me back. They'll take me back if I'm not going anywhere else, because made some good friends there. They all liked me, as far as I know. Maybe they were talking shit in Polish behind my back, but there's a lot of. To me, it's so. Growing up in America, it's America's national pastime, even though, baseball, the interest in baseball is maybe not as huge as it was before. But, I could just walk down the street and go to Better Baseball for one of the best baseball stores in America, and, just have access to anything, have access to all these baseball fields. You could go, I'm sure 10 miles in any direction, and you could find a baseball field here in Georgia. But in Poland, my coach, if you ever watched the movie Field of Dreams, you'd know. But he basically had to turn a plot of farmland into a baseball field, and he did it by himself. Oh, not by himself. He had some of the guys on the team helped him build it, but he genuinely built one of the best baseball fields in Poland by himself using a plot of farmland. And he's trying to grow the game and do baseball lessons. And some people do send their kids to baseball lessons in Poland because, it's an exotic sport. It's an exotic sport because it's an American sport, not a European sport. But, I mean, they're growing the game there. And, it made me kind of value what we have here a lot more. Even just this. I mean, you might look at this and say, the cage is literally falling apart. You got the bar over there. You got the net sagging. I mean, people have torn up the turf on the cage, and no one's replaced it in years. But, this is still something. This is a place I have to throw, and not everyone's got that.
It's a luxury.
Yeah, no, this is a luxury. Even this is a luxury. It feels right. It feels like whatever I'm doing is right, and it strikes a chord in my heart, and I don't know. You just love doing it. I love doing every part of it, even the parts that aren't just throwing baseballs. I'm a pitcher. I'm a career pitcher. I love throwing. That's what I love to do. But even like the stretching, mobility, trying to work on the smaller goals, and seeing those small successes pile up. That's a super gratifying feeling.